Thank you very much. I'm sure we can probably agree on some metrics that reasonable people would use to measure the success of a broadcasting corporation. Would you agree that measuring viewership or ratings is a reasonable metric to measure the success of a broadcaster?
Is one metric, so is usership.
Yeah, one metric.
Yeah.
I would say it's an important metric when you're talking about a broadcaster. You said a few minutes ago that ad revenue was I think you used the word, a major driver of whether or not you judge success. So would ad revenue also be a reasonable measure of success for a broadcaster?
It would be one of the variables, yes.
Right, okay. So viewership, yes. Ad revenue, yes. Trust also, whether or not people can trust what they're seeing on TV, especially when you run news outlets. You would agree, I hope, that trust in media would also be a measure of success. Absolutely. Okay. And therefore errors would be another measure of success or failure. If there aren't a lot of errors, and that would be a good thing. If there are a lot of errors, that would be a bad thing. Would you agree on that?
Well, I actually would put a different response on error. I think error is a natural part of all journalism, and in the fact that CBC, Radio-Canada, post its corrections as quickly as we do is actually a demonstration of why we are trusted, unlike others who may not.
Wow.
So I would say that that's a trusted source.
Wow. So the speed with which you correct your errors is the way that you measure performance at the CBC. Okay. Well, we've agreed that viewership is an important metric. We've agreed that ad revenue is an important metric, trust as well. So fewer Canadians are watching the CBC than ever before. Viewership has plummeted to half of what it was when you became CEO in 2018. Ad revenue has also crashed. In fact, it was down 31% in just 1 year, 2022 to 2023. And trust in media, and especially in the CBC, has also declined. The NDP talk about misinformation. The CBC has had to issue more than 100 corrections to grave errors in reporting. And that obviously has an impact on trust. So given the fact that on all these important metrics that you've agreed on, what justification do you have to issuing performance awards?
I want to correct a couple of your points, if I may, Madam Chair. First of all, the 30% drop in revenue was between an Olympics year and a non-Olympics year. And in fact, in the years you're describing, we had 2 Olympic Games. And so we have a much higher level of revenue, ad revenue, during those years. So that explains the drop there.
Okay, so were ad revenues in 2023 higher than in 2022?
I would say they were flat.
They were flat, okay.
Yeah, and that is, by the way, very much part of what's going on in the industry. Television is in decline, not just at CBC, at CTV and Global. Television is in decline, and people are moving to streaming, and they're moving to their connected television.
With all due respect, the CBC has almost $500 million in real estate holdings across the country. Big fancy buildings in downtowns across the country. You get over $1 billion in taxpayers' money to be a television broadcaster, radio broadcaster. When those metrics are down, how do you justify giving performance awards to people whose job it is to increase viewership, to increase ad revenue, to increase trust?
Madam Chair, if I may, I don't agree with the premise. No, I don't agree with the premise. 79% of Canadians say that it is important for the country to have a public broadcaster like CBC, Radio-Canada. 82% say...
Who commissioned that poll?
Those are our public perception surveys that we conduct.
Oh, you conduct it, okay. But so your polling tells you that Canadians like what you're doing.
By using a third-party léger survey firm.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. If the argument is to try to say that we're no longer of value, all I would say is that's not what I hear from Canadians.
What I'm asking about is the bonuses. With all due respect, Ms. Tate, when you give someone a bonus, and we've just agreed on the metrics that should be used to judge a broadcaster, when those metrics are down, how do you justify giving executives, big bonuses when they haven't achieved success by these metrics that we've agreed on.
As I pointed out, the metrics that we measure are public and tracked, and they're in all of our reports. So I'm afraid to say that that trust is down. Trust is down across the entire media section, and it also affects politicians. It also affects
when
all
you
of
misrepresent the truth, it does affect the politicians.
Excuse me, the time is up. But at the same time, I wish that we would stop talking over each other. If someone asks a question, we should listen. If someone's going to give an answer, we should listen. So anyway, the time is up, Mr. Chair. Thank you.